I'm going to start this again. Good evening, everybody. It is 6 p.m. It is May 23rd, 2022. It is the Town of Rhinebeck's regular town board meeting. And before we begin this meeting, I would like to ask for a moment of silence in remembrance of our dear clerk, John Gautier, whom we lost on Saturday, May 21st, from glioblastoma multiforme. John will sorely be missed, was an integral and really wonderful and very funny part of our town hall. So I ask for a minute of silence. Thank you, John Gautier, for your service. I'd like a motion for the approval of prior minutes for April 11th, 2022, April 21st, 2022, and May 9th, 2022. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Chauncey. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ed. Is there any discussion or any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you. Thank you. I have a couple of announcements. We're now barreling towards our grievance day, which is May 25th, Wednesday. It is the first Wednesday following the last Tuesday of every May. It is by appointment. You can visit booknow.appointment. You go to our website and see it there. You can call the assessor's office or go to the link on the assessor's office if you'd like an appointment. Monday, May 31st is the last day to pay your county and town taxes without a penalty. We're accepting them at Town Hall, of course, as we always do. And we've gotten a few complaints this year from people who mailed their taxes to Buffalo. So feel free to bring them into the tax collector, who's Joan, our town clerk. Also, town will be closed on Monday, May 30th, in its observance of Memorial Day. So we will be there as well. Does anybody else have any other announcements or okay, before we go into our resolution, let's do some discussion items. Brian Tam is here to talk about our skate park. Hi, Brian, thanks for coming. We had budgeted in this year's in our 2022 budget $60,000 towards a skate park, which we were thinking would be a temporary start for the skate park that could be parked on the asphalt between the Little League field and the tennis courts. The thinking was that the components for the skate park could be parked there and then moved to their permanent home, which is an acre sort of wrapping around the southwest corner.
I can show on the map when I get.
Yay!
Yeah. I'm happy to do that now. Can I have control? I'll share screen.
Yes. Let me give you. Hold on. All right. Just give me a second. You know how I thought.
No, I think I got it.
Okay. Good.
So. In the master plan, what's approved, and I'm sorry if this is small, if no one can see it.
Yeah, can you zoom in?
So this is the multi-use field that's planned. This is the existing baseball field here. This is the pavilion that's built. Does everybody have their bearings?
Yep.
So just this area to the southwest of the ball field was approved and designated as the proposed skate park. So that's my red dot there.
Show where we were going to park it temporarily. Yep.
So
right.
We were going to park it here temporarily.
Right.
There. And then the basic question is, are we going to migrate those pieces over to the new thing, or is what we want different and not part of those constituent pieces? So jumping to the Rampage Park site, there's two basic pieces, and Brian, tell me when I'm falling off my chair here, but you can do surface mounted features, which are basically things planted on a flat surface, which is what we had talked about. So here in Rye, you can see all this stuff.
We don't see it. We don't see it, Josh.
Okay, hold on. Let me try to figure
You
this
gotta.
out.
Before we go into that, I want to give some background, which is we thought we could just park the components on the temporary field, but now we find out, and Brian and I and Josh and I spoke with Bob Wyan, our highway superintendent. We need $15,000 to sort of clean that lot up and level it with what is it, Brian? Number 7 grade pavement or something?
Yeah, number 7 binder.
So we started thinking, isn't it silly to spend $15,000 on a permanent location when it could go towards a bigger portion of our final master plan? And we realized we don't really have a master plan for the skate park. So
it's just a placeholder of sorts.
Yeah. So go ahead, Josh.
I think hopefully you can see this now, but the long and short of it is that there's these
click on each picture, Josh, and sort of take us through.
Okay, well, there's the ramp type situations.
Go to the front where it shows the whole park in Rye. Just go back 2 clicks. No. The first image. Yeah. That's the sort of whole skate park in Rye that Rampage, the company that Brian and the park committee, or Brian and I and the town board have been talking to. So we would buy some of those components, but that's what a final component type skate park would look like, with fence and on a sort of tennis court like surface. Is that fair?
Yeah, and that is probably the sport coat surfacing over blacktop. That's the same thing that Rick has, which is nice and smooth. It's it's like going one step beyond blacktop. It's making it really nice.
Okay, so that's skate park type 1, but then this is a concrete skate park, which is what I guess we were thinking we ultimately wanted.
Yes.
So we're thinking, why are we spending $65,000 on components if this is what we want in the end?
And originally, some of the companies I was talking to from California were saying, "Oh yeah, buy these pieces, and then we'll just integrate them." And it can be done, but I would say it would be nice to have a modular half pipe, like that picture right there, because that would be outside a concrete
the half pipe in the background of that.
Yeah, that's how it would be, even if there was, if the whole place was concrete, having a half pipe.
Why wouldn't you build the half pipe in? Is it too much to go that high, or?
I don't know. That's just what Dave was saying. That a lot of places will just have the half pipe on the edge. But
then this concrete surface basically becomes pump track or traversing area, right, Brian?
Yeah, like a lot of bowls and there's some like this. I mean, this is kind of just plain old concrete.
Go back to the one in the Bronx. There's only 2. No, the second. Yeah, that one. So after speaking with Rampage, Brian and Josh and I thought we should talk to the board and probably get them for $1,500 to $2,500 to do up 2 sort of I'm still COVID brain, guys, so help me. 2
design.
Designs, concept designs for a component skate park and a concrete skate park. Concrete skate park would be about 8,000 to 10,000 square feet on our acre skate park. And we could put the half pipe or other components around it. We could fence it in, we could have grass and pollinator gardens. Also, we can do a concept plan for the component type skate park that would sit on that acre and again be surrounded with benches and gardens. But let's have them come up with a concept and prices.
Yeah, then we can get final price, yeah.
So we can know what we're talking about before we spend $15,000 preparing a space that we're never going to use. Does that sound good, guys?
Yeah.
I agree with it.
Did we sort of present that the right way, Brian?
I think so, yeah.
Is it, Brian, this makes sense with you as well?
Yeah, yeah, it was a really bummer when I was, when the guy from Rampage was like, yeah, this black was so good, it would have to all be leveled out and resurfaced. Whereas, everyone I was talking to from that didn't actually see it was like, oh yeah, no problem.
Yeah, but I also just in terms of a bit of self-criticism, I think I was just going for result. And the reality is that if we want to do the right thing, we got to figure out what the right thing is.
Yeah.
We need a plan.
Yes.
Let's say, let's do a resolution from the floor. Joni, I'm sorry to do this for you. This would be resolution 2022-138. You know what? I'll do it at the next meeting because we might have a procurement. It'll have to wait 2 weeks, Brian. We'll do the resolution.
3 weeks.
3 weeks, the resolution at the next meeting. I don't want to throw this on Joan, and I want to make sure we're within our procurement policy. But we'll call, I can't remember his name, Brian. Is it Dave or
Dave
at Rampage, and find out what 2 concept plans would look like, one for concrete and one for components.
Okay, I can email something over so you guys have it in writing and all that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then we'll get a sketch drawing with quotes so we know what we're talking about. But we know that a 10,000 square foot concrete park is about $300,000 exclusive of lighting, fencing, gardens, benches, all that stuff. We don't know how much the component would be, and we don't know what the skating community prefers, do we?
Well, I mean, I think everyone was excited for the original plan of this a concrete skate park, and this was kind of just a temporary holdover for that.
So
yeah, I mean,
we are expecting a concrete with some components. So, all right, okay. So
but I think as far as talking to any of the kids, they take anything basically right now.
Yeah. All right. Well, sorry for this hiccup, but it makes sense to put the brakes on and do a little bit of planning before we do this, Does everyone agree? Just pulling the town board here.
Yes.
Yeah, Ed. Okay, good. Brian, did you go?
So he's there.
You moved. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for coming. Are there any other questions for us? Okay. While we're in discussion mode, I want to bring you all up to date on the multi-purpose turf field. Our SWIP is pretty much compiled, and there's only one hiccup, which is that the original plans before the planning board, no, let me back this up. Clark Turf Field did not have the correct plans when they based their quote on us, and what they're missing is the drainage infrastructure, which consists of these 3 or 4 foot drainage pipes that are about an inch thick of plastic with holes in them that are laid down in different sizes of gravel. It's a $200,000 cost. because of supplies are a commodity now, and they're really expensive, those pipes. But what Clark is looking for us is a verbal okay for them to go in and do a perk test. They're going to bore some holes around the field and dig some soil samples with a back loader. They'll replace the soil, but I said they didn't need to reseed it or anything. And they would do this on a verbal okay with us, while Warren, with whom we're meeting on Wednesday, is working out the final. Warren's been ill, so he'll pick it up again and do the finalize the contract with them. So they're doing this all in good faith. They're still working with us on our budget and timeline, but we could be looking at additional funds for the drainage on this field. So that's why we need to do the perk
They
test.
have to dig the hole to confirm it's required, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or what is, I'm sorry?
I missed what Josh just said.
Just the point of it is the $200,000 is predicated on the results of the whole.
I see, sure.
And Christian Paggi, our engineer, who's really wonderful to work with, by the way, is pretty confident that they can find ways to mitigate that $200,000 cost.
Yeah.
So we need to see what we're up against.
We sure there was not a perk test done way back when? Because
there was a perk test done, but Clark needs to do this to design the drainage system. So they need to get soil samples and.
Understood. Okay.
Are you guys okay with giving them a verbal okay to go ahead and dig for soil samples?
Is there going to be a fee for doing the work?
No.
Okay. Oh, great.
No. So Chauncey, you're okay? Alan?
Yeah.
Sure.
Josh?
Yeah.
Ed? Okay. I will, I'll let Christian, our engineer, know that we're okay with the test. Okay, thank you. Recreation pavilion rentals. I think we have, there she is. Hi, Carrie.
Hi,
How are we doing?
good.
Are we getting all staffed up for camp and summer?
We are there.
Fabulous.
We're in good shape.
And Josh and I went and looked at the concession stand. It's got a new ceiling and we've done a lot of work on it. And I know that we're getting an industrial tile floor laid and repainting the inside of it. So
Yes, we're going to be in really good shape.
yeah, thank you for all that.
Sure.
That's great. Great news.
Yes, and you wanted to talk to us about,
Yeah, about the pavilion rentals. So because of COVID, we had stopped renting out pavilions. We were allowing the public to reserve and use the 2 small pavilions by the playground free of charge. But I just wanted to see if we could have a little discussion around whether we want to start allowing rentals again. That would include the 2 pavilions inside the pool area, not the large one because we reserved that for camp. And also if we wanted to do anything with the new pavilion.
what's your recommendation or the rec committee's recommendation to us?
Well, I think that our concern, or at least my concern with the new pavilion, is that there's no tables or anything there. So I don't know, the perk to renting it would be that there are the restrooms there, but those restrooms can also be used by anyone else in the public during that time. So I don't know if that is something that we want to pursue.
People that
with
want to
renting
rent the
it
new pavilion? I'm sorry, Carrie. There's
No,
people
go
that
ahead.
there's people that want to rent the new pavilion as a space.
I haven't been approached about it. It was just something that, we had kind of talked about in the past as a possibility.
I don't think we're ready to rent that out. I don't think it's offering anything, and they're public bathrooms. I mean, if
Yeah.
someone wants to, I know that one of our town employees is going to get married in the field this fall, but there's no charge for that, and the bathrooms
Right.
are there for free. It's just a wedding
Right.
ceremony. The celebration will be elsewhere. What did
Okay.
we charge before COVID? Was it $25 for residents?
Yeah, we were charging 25 for residents, 50 for non, and a $50 deposit. which was refundable as long as they followed the rules, didn't destroy anything, and did the carry in, carry out policy.
Take their own garbage.
Correct.
Were those amounts per hour or per day or?
No,
Okay.
so it was really just per rental. We had it set up so it was flexible blocks. So someone could potentially rent for several hours for that. Although from what I'm seeing, and I wasn't here at that time, it doesn't look like people rented for more than usually 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, I went, when Leo was growing up, I went to kids' birthday parties there and they were 2 or 3 hours. So.
Yeah.
Let's go back to that. Are you guys okay? Does that make sense,
Yeah.
Carrie?
Yeah.
Yes, sure.
Okay, that sounds good.
Thank you.
I will
Anything else
set
for
that up.
us?
No, that's it.
Okay. Thank you for coming.
Great, thank you.
Sure. I'm gonna go back to our regular agenda order. I would like a motion for resolution 2022-109 for to approve tech services for our courts. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Josh. May I have a second?
Second,
Thank you, Chauncey. Is there any discussion or any questions?
Does this have parity with our last agreement?
Yes,
And we have a July 1st deadline with it?
yes, it has to be signed in June to start in July.
So okay.
Do you
So
have-
we has Warren reviewed it?
Warren's been ill. He hasn't reviewed it.
All right, so do we want to sit or just go?
Well, it's sort of I'm fine approving it. It's close enough to our last one. The one issue I
Okay.
had was that we do pay them in blocks of 4 hours after the initial time, and they don't return the money, but it's the court's purview and this is what they want. And honestly, BOCES seems to be a lot more reasonable than what we're spending. Maybe we want to look at them taking care of our town computers. I don't know.
Okay,
It's up to you guys. I put it on because they asked for it to be done by June 1st so that it could be turned in and start in July.
okay.
Any other questions or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
aye,
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. It passes unanimously. I need a motion for resolution 2022-131, signify agreement and final inspection report allowing me to.
may I ask a question at this point, Elizabeth? I need to recommend 2 small changes. Do you want that now or do you want it after a motion and a second?
We have to get it to the floor before we discuss it.
Okay, I thought so, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make the motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Josh. Chauncey, you have 2 amendments to this?
Yes, there's a little bit of a backstory. We found out just literally within the last couple of days, last couple of business days anyway, I think it was either Thursday or Friday, that 4 of the lights on Grinnell Street in Rhinecliff had not been changed. They have the old fixtures, not the new LED fixtures. So in order to cover that, and it was an accident, actually, by the way we found out about it. And when let me back up just a second. I said to NYPA, I don't understand, how did this happen? And they really didn't have an answer, but they stepped up to it magnificently. They said, we should have done it, we will do it. There'll be no charge except for the fixtures themselves, which we'd have had to pay for in any event, but they'll come, they'll do it, they'll do the work. We'll pay only for the fixtures. So in order to cover that situation and yet be able to go forward with this, I would move to make these 2 amendments. In the first whereas clause, to insert the word substantially before the word completed.
Joni, are you getting this? Okay, Chauncey's motioning for a,
Modification.
So that it will just say the town substantially completed the
what's the
project.
word? modification. Okay, that's number one. Thank you.
And then modification number 2, at the very end, Joan, of the resolutions, after the words "the form attached here too," I suggest that we add "when final completion has occurred."
Is that it, Chauncey?
So,
Yeah, I'll second Chauncey's revisions. All in favor of the revisions?
aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Chauncey.
Passes unanimously. Any other discussion or input on the original motion on the floor? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye. Any against? Passes unanimously. Thank you. Thank you, Joan. Thanks, Chauncey. I'd like a motion for resolution 2022-132 approving the tax certiorari settlement for COF.
Make the motion.
Thanks, Ed. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Chauncey. Any discussion or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? It passes unanimously. Thank you. I'll make a motion for resolution 2022-133 approving Bob Wyan, our highway superintendent, to attend highway school. May I have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Ed. Any discussions or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? It passes unanimously. I will make a motion for resolution 2022-134, a holdover for vacation time for our town clerk, Joan Winnie. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Chauncey. This in Joan's excellent service, transitioning the town hall into a new clerk and training into deputy clerk. She hasn't been able to take vacation time in quite a long time. You guys have known what's been going on in the office. I don't want Joan to miss any of her accrued vacation time. So this is sort of superseding what is in our town handbook and allowing her vacation time to turn over. Thank you, Joan, for your
Thank you, Joan.
amazing service and overtime, and how wonderful a job you've been doing. Hope you can take vacation soon. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, passes
Who
unanimously.
would be opposed?
I know, how could, well, you know, people
You never
could.
know.
People could. Use it or lose it. Woman's been putting in 60-hour weeks, and we're very grateful, Joan.
And putting up with us.
Well, we're not so bad. Okay, I need a motion for, I've seen worse.
I know.
I need a motion for resolution 2022-135 approving our natural resource inventory, Joshy. I'll take Josh. May I have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Ed. I don't know if any of you have perused this. It's like a phone book.
It's a trove of data.
It is a tome. It is a trove. It is relentless. It's daunting, but what it is, it was a labor of love spearheaded by Vanessa Bertozzi of the village board, and help me, I still have COVID brain. Our former CAB David Chernak and our former CAB chair Mark
Dixon.
Yes, and many other volunteers, and it was spearheaded by Cornell cooperative, local cooperative, and peruse it. It's online. It's really a deeper delve into a lot of our critical environmental areas and data to be used by the planning board and the CAB and us and anyone. It's just a tool that will live in our comprehensive plan as an addendum to our comprehensive plan or standalone. We're approving it, and it's there. It's there as guidance. So I want to thank everyone for working on it, and it's nice to have. It's a good tool for us. Are there any other Oh, yes, Joan tells us it's on our website homepage in color. Thank you, Joan.
Thanks, Joe.
Any other comments or questions about our
Yeah, I
NRI?
have a question. In the very last sentence, it is the further intent of the village board to update or amend. Is that meant to be the town board?
Let's change that to town, because what happened is that we borrowed a resolution that was written by Cornell specifically for the village and missed one
Because the
town.
village did the same thing parallel with us.
Yeah, they spearheaded it and did it with us. Vanessa was the spearheader, and so Cornell wrote us, yeah, Joni.
I had a hunch that there was something like that.
Yeah, okay, let's all agreement to revising that village to town. It passes unanimously for the revision. We still have a open motion on the floor to accept our natural resource inventory. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you, Josh, for spearheading this and everybody else.
I don't deserve the thanks, but thank you.
Well,
A
you
little
did.
bit.
You paid
A little
attention
bit.
and nudged it along.
Yeah, nudge.
Okay. I need a motion for 2022-136 granting additional referral response time on the Hamlet Workforce Housing Project at Rhinebeck application. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Josh. Just for everybody, this is granting more time to the planning board and the workforce housing committee, conservation advisory board, and the county department of planning to weigh in on Kearney Construction's proposed plan for 80 units of workforce housing in the town of Rhinebeck. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you. I'll make a motion for resolution 2022-137 for our preliminary abstracts payable. May I have a second?
Okay.
Thank you, Ed. Are there any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. And I will make a motion for resolution 2022-138 for our capital projects abstract. May I have a second for that?
Second.
Thanks, Alan. Any discussion or questions on that?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So moved. I know that we still have our public hearings open on the two local laws before us. We're still taking comments on that. I believe it'll be on our next meeting agenda for a vote. Okay.
I have a comment about the solar part of that,
Mhm.
which is that at the moment, the law, the way it was written, basically has setback rules, has tree cutting rules, has fencing rules, and also has view shed rules, and requires a removal plan. And then on top of that, there's a percentage coverage that's allowed, which I've looked into. It looks like it's impractical. It's also much less than what other municipalities have done. Basically, you need to have 25 acres for a minimal size solar array that would be used for community solar or as a generating operation, and that's minimal. And currently we're requiring no more than 20 to 25% coverage outside the ORP, which says you can't put 25 acres of array into anything less than 100, 120 acres. And that seems to, in my opinion, is overkill. And even the ORP, the way it's written, the industrial park percentage is, I think, 60%, and even that's a little bit excessive, in my opinion, because we got all these other rules, which basically will prevent anything from being seen anyway. And I'm not, I don't know why we got this thing tied up so aggressively to keep it's going to keep it small, keep it invisible, keep it low. We want to have solar.
Wasn't there a logic related to FAR and per zoning district with this thing that the maximum coverage was related to the FAR, the floor area ratio, or the maximum lot coverage?
Yeah, but that lot coverage has to do with buildings.
Right, but I thought that the logic was that we were tying it to you can't cover the lot more than you can with a building or a solar array or whatever. Am I wrong?
Well, that's right. But the question is, do you want to have a solar farm or not?
Oh yeah, no, I'm not arguing
because what we're doing is not going to allow, in my opinion, for a practical size.
So if you've got a 5-acre or 10-acre piece of property, you got to cover 20%. It's not going to get you a solar community.
Yeah, I mean, look, it takes 5 acres for a megawatt of generation, give or take. Could be as much as 10 acres, depends on the geography. So let's call it 5 acres, and 5 megawatts is a minimum, because you've got this overhead of connecting to the grid. It's not like somebody putting solar panels on their roof and using it in their own home. This has got to get onto the grid. So you got to have access to the grid. And we've got, in my opinion, we've got this thing so restricted, and I don't think anything's ever going to happen.
So I think your points are well taken, and you raised them at the last meeting. I think we need to talk to our planner about this.
All right, I will. I mean, I have been.
Or, our attorney and our planter. I sent out an invitation today for an attorney-client meeting on Wednesday, which I hope you can all meet.
Sure.
It's to talk to Warren, get them all caught up, and we can talk to. You should. Why don't you reach out to Jim Levy with these concerns and see what he says? I thought he had responded after our last meeting with an inter-office communication regarding this.
Yeah, I did speak to him, and he basically, he was going along with the path of least resistance, shall we say, which is to say, leave the coverage percentages the way they were.
Well, why?
Because it's the least disruptive change. The question is, do you want to have solar arrays or not? And in my opinion, you're not going to get them with coverage percentages like we have. They're already going to be invisible. I don't understand what but I'll talk to Jim again.
Well, yeah, he had other things to say there. I'm trying to find it. I can't find it right now.
Yeah, I spoke to him the other day, so it's.
I had to go through my emails, and I'll forward it to you. While you're here, I set up the attorney-client at 10:30 for Warren, which he can't do, which is when he told me he can do it. Can you guys do Thursday at 10:30 with Warren?
Sure.
Hold on, Josh, does that work for you?
Yeah, I'm fine. It works.
That's fine.
It's the.
Yeah, I can't make it. You guys can go. I can't make it.
That's fine. We can do scheduling on email.
Okay, well, we can. I'm sorry. It's Thursday at 10:30 is okay with everyone?
No, I can't make it.
Chauncey, can you? Alan, can you?
I can, yes.
Josh, you can?
Okay,
Ed, we'll
yeah,
go
but I
ahead.
mean, we can figure this out. We can also do it online, email wise.
I think Warren has a very limited schedule because of doctor's appointments.
It makes
Right.
sense.
So that I just checked my email and this is coming from him and he wants to get caught up. And we have a couple of things that are very timely, like this contract with Clark, like the turning over our passenger bridge to Amtrak. So let's set it for 10:30 on Thursday.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Question, given this discussion about the solar amendments, should we ask Jim to attend part of that meeting? To
If he
discuss
can,
it?
yeah. If he can, yeah. Let me talk to Warren and see
Okay.
how he wants to handle it. Alan will reach out to Jim in the meantime.
Yes,
So you're proposing that we allow for bigger coverage just for community solar?
yeah, or solar, yeah, solar park or solar. array,
At the
yeah.
end of the day, 5 acres is the minimum entry point, is what basically we're saying, right?
Well,
Yeah,
what
that-
Alan's saying is that 5 acres is 1 megawatt and you
No,
can't.
no, yeah, 5 acres is a megawatt, it's 25 acres is the minimum. Give or take 20%, let's say, but 25 acres is the smallest array
Sorry, 25.
that will generate enough electricity to make it worthwhile to spend the money to connect to the grid.
So you're advocating that we have less, like a higher density of lot coverage? And what about setbacks?
I would leave the setbacks the way they are. I would leave everything else the way it is. I just get rid of the coverage number. Exempt solar arrays from the coverage number.
Well, should we cap it at a certain amount, like no more than X acres? And should we also look at, like, we can't have a 25 acre array on a 28 acre lot. Should we have minimum lot sizes? Or, you know, a 25 acre array would be fine on a,
Yeah, I understand.
In Kansas,
My reaction to that is we've got setbacks, which by the way, already take a fair percentage of the space away. We've got view shed restrictions. We've got height restrictions. We've got fencing rules. And that will, in my opinion, make the thing practically invisible. So who cares how big it is?
well, we saw how upset people got about arrays going on a barn. I mean, and our whole
Well, I think
driving.
they were upset. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
no, it makes perfect sense. The math is what the math is, that you need this much for it to be rational and to feed the grid in the right amount of way and whatever math's behind it. But how does the town of Rhinebeck absorb it, and where do we absorb it is the basic question.
Exactly. The thing is that our land is worth more here than northern or western New York. So who's going to devote 25 acres to commute? And this is only for community solar? This isn't for commercial. This would have to be community, correct?
Well, that's up to us. I mean, it's not viable for either at the moment.
All right, I understand that. And our driving focus when we did our solar law was microgrids that didn't. It
But it
didn't.
was, before it was power based, right? Like maximum power. Now we're talking about maximum square
Coverage.
footage.
Well, coverage, we did calculate power according to coverage.
Right, but power
based
changes
on-
over time, you know.
Based on today's technology.
Right.
And then what we learned is that there is a formula for, you know, breaking even and
Right.
people
And
being able to
proximity
make
to
money off this so that
transportation
we
and
get
all.
solar.
All right, well, we need to look at it again.
Okay, so we're holding open our
10:30 on Wednesday or Thursday?
10:30 on Thursday with Warren. That's an attorney-client. But we're holding open our public comments on this until Joan told me June 12th and longer if we need to, right, Joni? I can't
It
hear
would
you.
be June 13th.
June 13th and longer if we need to. I mean, if we make a substantial change to this law, well, we have 2 local laws, we will have to lay it down again and go through another public hearing if it's substantive, and this sounds like it could be, but we'll let Warren decide that. Okay, thank you. What's your name, Alan?
Wow, that's COVID.
It's
Yeah, right.
the brain fog hasn't left yet, or I'm going to use that as long as I possibly can.
Well, as you get older, it'll be easier and easier to use.
Looking forward.
Yeah, I
to
don't even need it.
I'm hearing to tell you.
ARPA funds. I know we've got this on everything. And I don't know about you guys, but I think I'm starting to change my point of view on this a little bit. Maybe there is a way that we could look to giving this money to people who really need it. I mean, we've only had 3 comments. They're all from village residents. The village has its own ARPA funds, so I'm thinking the town ARPA funds would be a part town expense, so they'd only be expended on, I don't know, but you know, if we had 1,000 people, that would be $500 each, which isn't a lot. Maybe we should look into, you know, what do you guys think? I'm going in circles here. We've had 3 comments for people say, look into giving it to people in need. We have to do our town hall project anyway. Is there any way that someone can come up with a plan to find out how to give it directly to those in need, or what? I don't know. I guess we're looking for more comments from people, if anybody has any.
Do we think that we would exhaust the ARPA funds in doing town hall?
Oh, I think it'll exceed the ARPA funds.
The cost.
Yeah. You know, we need to renovate town hall. We need to get our staff out of the basement. We need light-filled, clean-aired workspaces. Sorry, there it is, everybody. And we're gonna have to pay for it.
I know it sounds cruel, and I am sympathetic to people in need, but I think I would prefer we stick to the plan and do town hall.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, the only other thought that I have is there a way through zoning that we can provide for more areas of affordable housing, workforce housing? I mean, that's the only thought. I don't know what other mechanism exists for us to thoughtfully and accurately, you know, dispense the money.
Well, I agree. I just bring it up because, you know, our county executive was looking to spend $17 million on a baseball stadium. But, you know, yes, Josh, we can have zoning amendments to allow for work.
But that doesn't cost a lot of money. I mean,
No, it doesn't. You know, we could do something in the town of Rhinebeck that allows for somebody to build an accessory dwelling. I believe we have to talk to Warren about this. In addition, we could relax zoning if you're going to build affordable.
The thing about workforce housing is we do have other gateway areas that are covered by our workforce housing changes in the law, in addition to the one across from the library. The problem is getting developers to come in and do it.
Well, we only have 2 floating zones, though. We would have to add another floating zone.
We only have 2? I thought we had.
We
3
did
or 4.
2.
Okay.
We'd have to add another zone. You know, but I just raise it. It's there for comments. We'll be taking comments on it. We've only had 3. All were, you know, for people in need. We don't know how we would find people in need. We don't know how we'd administer it. I just raise it.
The paradigm with the federal government has been to sending checks to everyone, but that's not what we do.
Right.
Okay, anything else? Any other new business or any comments on any non-agenda items or any questions from any members of the public? Okay, hearing nothing, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Thank you, Alan. Okay, everybody, thanks for coming. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Good night, everyone.
All right.
Good night.
Happy Memorial Day.
Happy,
Elizabeth,
yes.
no, go the happy, always end on a happy.